Welcome to the Beauties podcast, where we talk about everything you need to know about women's sports. From the grassroots to the pros, we got it all. Today on the show, we talk about Ashleigh Barty's surprise retirement, a UPSORT championship, and we're also adding the M. Here are your hosts, Addie and Cowie.
Another beautiful day at the sports desk. We're doing it a little bit earlier this week, but I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. A lot of crazy big topics have come up this week, and I'm excited to dive into it. But how's your day going, Cowie?
My day was good. As always, it is a Friday for us today, so that's always a good day for me. Mm-hmm. We're a couple days early, but I think that's what happens when life is also part of what we juggle.
Absolutely. And I think there's two huge topics to talk about this week, because there's this massive campaign that just went out at the M, which I think is a really cool, topic for us to talk about, as well as a big retirement announcement, as well as the PHF playoffs and LPGA's back at it. So to start off, I think the Add the M campaign, is going to be a big movement.
I agree. We talked about in last episode this find the rest, right? This 46% that's missing on TV.
Yeah.
And this just felt like it kind of slides right into that so this is a YWCA campaign kind of spearheaded along with Christine Sinclair, who everyone knows is on the Canadian women's national soccer team and has been for, as long as I can remember.
Canadian national treasure, Christine Sinclair.
Literally, we'll have a statue somewhere at some point if she doesn't already. And this whole concept of, by default, women's sports is secondary if there is no M in front of major men's sports leagues, because they become the default the sports.
Right.
And everything that is women's after that is an afterthought.
And we've talked about it because after listening to our last Beers with Beauties episode, we dove into it. Mm-hmm. We were probably a couple beers deep when we were talking about that, which is great because that's the conversations that we want to have. But we've also even going back further talked about having the, NBA. Mm-hmm. Men's and women's division and just simplifying it to that. And it's really cool to kind of see it come full circle to the point where in this campaign they put out, go to Christine Sinclair's Instagram account to see it, because it's very well done. Yeah. They essentially show how easy it is to just not quickly rebrand, but to put an M in all the men's major sports. And what does it truly affect for them?
Well, for them, to me, nothing.
That's what I think. I think it's such a simplistic change.
Sign of equality is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. That really, it won't affect
the MNHL, the MPGA.
Yeah.
The MNBA. Yeah.
And, and then it all it does is change your next season's apparel.
Yeah.
Really. It doesn't change any other aspect of the league. It doesn't change really anything other than that one specific thing. So I thought it was brilliant how they just literally showed you how easy it is.
Yeah, time. And you know what? Even if we're going to take the spin from a male sports perspective and a marketing perspective, do you know how many people would buy your stuff because it stands for equality?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to buy an MNHL or an NBA attire because that's the meaning of it. That's something you should buy because it's going to make a difference for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. And it's cool to see that, I thought it was very well put together for sure, but it's for male athletes who have daughters. Mm-hmm. It's a no-brainer, right? Because they see their life, what they've been able to have out of their life, whether they're a golfer, basketball player, hockey player, doesn't matter. They've got to grow up being able to have the opportunity to think, believe, understand that they can play pro athletics.
That's right.
And then they have a daughter.
Mm-hmm. And they're the ones who are now standing up and saying, what are we doing here?
What is happening? Why doesn't my girl get the same opportunities that I did? Yeah. Or going back to our table talk.
Yep.
If you have your son on one side and your daughter on the other and you can't offer them the same, well, we have to come up with more solutions.
Yep.
And I think that I think it's going to be huge. Well, I know it's going to be a huge campaign. It was everywhere.
I love
everywhere.
Literally, you're right. It was shared on, my God, like I feel like I saw it in one day yesterday, and I don't follow thousands of people on Instagram, but I probably saw it 40, 50 times.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot,
as it should be. And the thing
right.
is, it's like you hope those things have a recycle. Like I hope it's not a one day. Like that's always my curiosity is like what's the next video?
Yeah.
Or what's the next action? Or what's the next tweet that can keep that conversation and that momentum going versus it being that one and done campaign that everyone shares on the day it comes out.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because you're right on the, like, what is the next action, right? Like you think about how many times the women's national team were like, or national soccer team were like, we want to be paid equal. We're we're filling stadiums, we're selling jerseys, we're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then they took the action to actually file a lawsuit, which took 6 years, right? But then in the same token, it's like they knew that what they were doing, the video, the getting in front of people at press conferences and saying these things wasn't enough.
No, exactly.
It wasn't enough. It was like, okay, what's our actual next steps?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I hope it's not just video after video after video. I hope it's like meetings. Now it's like, let's
sit
chat.
down and actually put some pen to paper and some thoughts and let's have an action plan.
Could you imagine being a parent and getting to the point where you go to, I don't know, our place is Source for Sports, and you could easily pick up a women's hockey jersey and a men's hockey jersey. They're labeled, and it's like the lanes are so visibly clear for them.
Do you remember the first girls' shoulder pads you ever got?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And how much of a difference that was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, it's hard to put cardboard on a balloon.
Yeah.
Like, just as a general comment, right?
I think everybody got the visual on that one for sure.
And how impactful that is. You're right. If you could have an aisle, an equal aisle,
Yeah.
here or here, doesn't matter which aisle you choose, the options are the same, but for you.
Yeah.
Whoa. What a novel thought that is.
You know, so.
Sticks.
And you know what? Now you got my head spinning on all the different, equipment that's available to girls now that weren't when I was growing up. Like I remember like when I was coaching girls later in my career, and then I was like, what are these pants? They're like, oh, well, they fit
Hips.
me.
Yeah.
They fit like me. And I'm like, what are these unbelievable things? They were adjustable.
Yeah.
And they made it super comfy because everyone's hips are different sizes. So I'm like, this is brilliant.
I remember how hard it was to find a Jill. Like the Jills with the Velcro.
Oh, yeah. Those are novelty.
When I started playing hockey, wore my baseball one. Because
no way.
There was no
No way. I feel like we're dating ourselves a little bit here right now.
It's like I had to chisel it out of stone.
Yeah.
That's not real. It was purchasable, but there wasn't a lot on the shelf, right?
There wasn't. That's exactly.
So it was like they were there, but if you went there on the day that there was no medium, well, then you buy
later.
the baseball one.
Yeah. So it's and you do see a lot more now. There's like there's that women's apparel brand that's dedicated to women's workout apparel, because that's one of the hardest things ever, and we still see it with people trying to order girls shorts, girls shirts. It's like not all girls want to work out in low V-cut t-shirts.
I know.
Just kind of want like the normal style t-shirt.
Well, and that is, I think, something that is more specific to women. Is if you we've played on lots of sports teams, whether it's ball or hockey or whatever else you played. And there is that vision that because you're girls, you should wear tiny little shorts and and you're right, a V-neck tee.
Yeah. And
that might suit, and it might also suit some people on some days and not on others, but we blanket it.
Right. And so I think, honestly, the amount of stories that are jumping into my head now, it's it's a lifetime of feeling like, let's just finally have one lane where you can look on one side and feel respected, and then the other side you feel the same amount of respect on that side. And I think that this is a very, very good first step. And it's interesting because when this campaign was launched too, the amount of times I've had this conversation with people over the last decade has been insane. And then I had people texting me saying, the amount of times that I've told everybody that this is the next step, and it does take people like Christine Sinclair to step up and finally say,
takes people with a platform.
But then, so I think that this is such an amazing step across, because she's not even just saying soccer. Like, she's like,
no,
the
there
whole
was
campaign,
four keys, right? Hockey, soccer, golf, and basketball.
It's like we're getting everywhere. We could talk about the momentum of women's sports like crazy too, but we could also talk about Ashleigh Barty.
Yeah, that, I am happy for her. I'm super happy for her. She announced her retirement from golf. She's a whopping 25 years old. Her resume, and ads, you can rattle off some things from her resume, but she posted it kind of came out on Instagram. She did an interview in a very safe space with someone that she, felt safe in. And that was her message, is I think she feels like she's accomplished all of the goals that she set out to accomplish in her tennis career. And now it's time to just get to be Ash Barty the person and set some new personal goals for her. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I think you and I were like the rest of the world. We're like, what?
Shocked.
Absolute. And
until you heard it, right? When you saw the first Instagram post, it was like, holy
this
cow.
Can't be true.
And then when you heard the interview, you're like, okay, total respect.
Yeah.
Get it.
Agreed. Because another screenshot that you sent me, and then I was like, that can't be true. And then I looked it up and then got the absolute pleasure of just diving into her career and what she's been able to accomplish. And then you find out she's 25 years old. She's got money in the bank. She's accomplished incredible things. And it's like, how exciting.
How exciting.
How exciting for her. And like, she talked about, wanting to pursue different things and not wanting to feel like tennis is her only thing. And that it was right. It was the right time for her.
Yes.
And the wonderful lady interviewing her was like, you just feel this sense of calm.
Yeah, you did. You could see that when you watched. If any of you listening haven't seen it, I would really encourage you to watch the whole, I think it was 6 minutes. We tend to see reels on Instagram and watch 30 seconds and then scroll to the next thing. Pause your day for 6 minutes. It's worth your time because she does seem very much at peace.
Yeah.
She feels like it's the right time.
And what a, 25 years old. And you're right, I've got a couple stats here. And you just can't even believe this resume.
I know. Rattle them off.
2022 Australian Open champion, current number 1, 3-time Grand Slam winner, 15 career single titles. And this is the one that got me. This is the one that I was like, holy shit. 114 consecutive weeks at number 1.
Yeah, more than 2 years.
The consistency of discipline that it takes to get to that.
Yeah. And is keeping in mind through a pandemic.
Through a pandemic.
Through all these unknowns and uncontrollable things.
Yep.
Remaining the top athlete in your sport through all of those uncertainties. You
almost can't even fathom it. And there was she went through, I can't remember if she played Emma Raducanu or Leila Fernandez in that U.S. Open. But when you're in games like that and then you go through a hard match of losing to somebody that's, not that much younger than you, but younger than you, you're ranked number 1, blah, blah, blah. And to still have that mental capacity to come back and be like, no. No, this is me. I'm totally in awe of her career. And it was when she announced her retirement, I was like, holy man.
Yeah, and then we've talked about this before on the show, where you're sad for yourself as a sports fan, but you're super happy for them because at the end of the day, they're also just as human as we are.
Yeah, totally. And is looking at this as like, I've dedicated the right amount of time for me to this sport. I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and what better way of waving goodbye as to winning the championship on home turf.
And I talked about this with Ash this week too. And I think there's some lessons that other athletes could take from that, and that it's okay to go out when you're on top. There's been a lot of athletes over the years, and there's no gender specific here. We can look across all sports, all genders, all leagues that, and this is my personal opinion, have stuck around for too long. And instead of going out on a high, they then struggle through it and almost exit in silence.
I could not agree more, because you have to know that in this decision, she is surrounded by incredibly humble, like really level-headed people, because you could get in this situation and they could be like, no, you're number one. Like, you have to keep going. And somebody looked at her and said, like, is this what you want though? Because you're right. We know too many athletes that are one more year. It
exists like
one more year.
Yeah, it exists outside of sports, too. You think about that teacher you had that should have retired 5 years ago. It's like, you were good and now you're so crotchety and old. Just go.
Well, yeah, it's like the same thing when you get into coaching.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you look.
It doesn't matter.
It's the same thing. So I was pleasantly surprised for her in that, like, she couldn't know. You're right. At home, she won the U.S. Open in 19, won Wimbledon in 21.
Yeah.
2022 wins the Australian Open. She's been ranked number one in the world for that entire span almost. And then says, yep, I have achieved everything I set out to achieve, and I'm on to my next challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Congratulations, Ash Barty.
Yep. You deserve one hell of a retirement party.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever find us, we'd go.
Yeah. We'd probably head out there. Add it to the bucket list. Add it to the bucket list.
Get to Australia.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I also could listen to her interview all day because she sounds like $1 million.
She sounds so professional. You're right. She's a seasoned veteran, but she's 25. So you're so excited for her life, but it's she's been in the game for so long. She spoke so well about it.
Did you see that picture on Instagram where she looks exactly the same as she does now, but she was very, very small?
No, I have to look that up. I gotta find that out. But talking about us and our bucket list.
Yeah.
How many people do you think made the trip out to Tampa to watch the Isabel Cup?
My honest answer?
I'm just thinking about it.
I don't know. I don't know. I suspect probably not as many as they hope. I hope they have lots of local people that came.
I hope that I think that what they were trying to accomplish was tackling the younger demographic in Tampa. Even their apparel was geared towards
you're right, very
younger younger kids. I think it was definitely an attempt to put it in a cool place. And oh my gosh. Okay, so for the people on Podcast Cow, he's just showing me the cutest picture of Ashleigh Barty when she's younger, and she's got that same face.
She looks exactly the same. She's just tiny. She
looks exactly the same.
She's just 4. I know, you just want to hug her.
Adorable.
Anyway, sorry. You're right. I do think the PHF you're 100%. They were aiming for a very specific, their marketing, their merch, their location, all of it leans in that. Maybe it was, it's spring break for us right now.
Right.
I don't think it is in the U.S. because their school year ends earlier, but.
Right. So.
Appealing to the spring break crowd?
The spring break, that's right. That could be.
I don't think that's.
Want to drink, but I I think that that's like 100% what they were trying to do. Make sure that like the PHF, like the women that were going down there and the teams, they've got a really cool place. Almost feeling like All-Star Week.
Yeah, it does have that vibe.
The All-Star Week vibe. Scores have been a little bit
lopsided
in the beginning, but we knew that Boston was going to be a dominant force this year, like the Toronto Six, Boston Pride. We knew that those teams were going to be at the top of their game, and with Boston starting with Buffalo, didn't think it was going to be a 6-bagel rip, but you knew it was going to be something where Boston was on top.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think any of us thought it would be the score that it is. I don't know, just leaving the post. Boston Pride absolutely dominate and move on to the semifinals.
I know. Domination.
Yeah, and we'll see that. You know what? That shakes out on Monday as the finals, which is interesting. So come the time that this hits your ears, there will be a Isabel Cup champion, which we'll talk about next week. But
absolutely, and it looks like Minnesota's up on the Riveters right now, which, that was probably the game that I thought was going to be the most evenly matched.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
The Riveters and Minnesota, looks like Minnesota's putting on a show today for sure. But I think it's going to be, if following and watching all season, I just can't see it being anybody other than Toronto Six.
Except for you come out of that last game before they head down to the Isabel Cup and Toronto gets pumped by Connecticut. Wasn't that 6 rip also? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
But you know what? I did appreciate they had a lot of posts on Instagram. It was like, forget it even happened. Like making a meme of themselves first before everyone else got the opportunity to make a meme of them. It's like, well played. Yeah. Very well played.
Very true. So, yeah, I totally remember that.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was 5. And then, tough day at the office. That was their post. But then they had some other ones like this. Shake it off. Shake it off.
That's the one that I'm thinking of too.
Right? They just made a meme of themselves, which I think, that's one thing that I make fun of you a lot on this, but it's only because I love you.
Yeah.
But if you can't laugh at yourself, it's going to be a rough go. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so true. Very, very true. And so I think my bet would be Toronto Six. I think they've been too dominant all year. I think their goalie is outstanding.
I agree, and I think you come off of a 5-0 L.
Yeah, and you're ready to rock.
Fire. Yeah.
You're ready to rock. So even with that too, with the PHF in Tampa, PEI hosting UPSORT Nationals now.
That's right.
And just like we were talking about last week with the D1 NCAA, how the scores were so close and tight and all these comeback games and everything. First game, McGill and New Brunswick, 5-4 OT. Shootout.
Yeah. And it was, UNB was down. I think it was 4-1 going into the third.
Yeah.
And then scored 3 in the third to tie it up. And then nothing solved in OT. And then shootout. That's hard for me. We've talked about when you should have shootouts and when you shouldn't. And when it is that magnitude at a national championship, to me, that is not solved in a shootout.
Nope, I agree. I say we shrink the rink. We just got to keep shrinking. We go 4v4, 3v3. Yeah. I can't stand
the shootout
thing. And it's honestly one of our first episodes. We talked about it in soccer, the shootouts. We have to figure it out. And then,
I get it in the regular season where you want to solve games. It's entertainment value. Like we've seen that in the NHL, right?
Yep.
I understand there. Mm-hmm. But when you get to this magnitude, I don't get it.
But would you say that shootouts are as entertaining as 3v3?
Oh no, but that's I don't. We see less shootouts now because we have 3v3 OT.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much ice that
it's
the opportunity to solve a game in that is so much greater.
Yeah, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see the creativity of the 3v3, and you get certain players on the ice. You start, I think that you're right. You get to this level. Could you imagine being McGill and one?
Well, and that was 2v7. So McGill, like you were, and they kind of crumbled.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that's a big
Had an
win
opportunity for
UNB.
enormous upset, and they just
And
fell
then
off.
you go to the next quarterfinal game, Nipissing versus UBC. Nipissing takes it one bagel final OT.
I know.
Like,
I know.
what is going on?
I know,
So-
and that again, that is actually an upset. Nipissing 6, UBC 3
yeah.
going in, and the upset there. And then today's game, so that was yesterday, Thursday. Today's games were more decisive.
Yeah.
You know, U of S, Saskatchewan beating Brock 4-zip, Concordia beating PEI 7-zip. You know, we watched the start of that PEI game in this house, and we're going to have an opportunity to talk to some of the girls from that UPEI team here in an upcoming episode. Unfortunate for them, you know, I think they, through the first 30 minutes of the game, I'm going to call it, had a better showing than what the scoreboard indicated. It was 3-0 when we walked down here.
Yeah.
And then a 7-0 final. You know, that's an 8 versus 1 matchup.
Yeah.
But I think you're playing in front of your home crowd, and I don't know, when you're at a national championship, it's not over for them, right? They still go into the consolation side, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. So they're playing Brock next, but I think the big game, the two big games coming up are McGill, UBC, and Saskatchewan Concordia. I think
Huge.
that is going to be huge.
Yeah, well, and you think of Concordia, like they're coached by Julie Chu, Carol Ouellette, Lorianne Rougeau, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like they've got some epic female hockey players behind their bench.
Just
Not
unreal.
that good old Steve Cook's not going to be able to pull it out either.
Stevie Cook always finds a way.
I know.
Stevie Cook always finds a way.
That'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be great.
So
And-
and again, by the time this is hitting your ears, there is a national champion for U Sports that we'll talk about next week. But
And we talked about this, like, we always say that because we talk all the time, but like, March is the best month.
for sports, it is. Yeah.
March is every time we talk, we're like, there's going to be a champion here. There's a champion here. There's championships and March Madness and all this stuff that's going on. March is the biggest and best sports month, I think.
You know, and it's the one time that I'm not going to rag on U Sports because you can find it. They stream it through the CBC Sports app. They do stream some of it on their U Sports website.
Yeah.
Like I watched some volleyball's going on right now as well in their national championship. So I watched some volleyball today, which the women's side is being played out of the University of Calgary. Mm-hmm. Guys is here in Winnipeg, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
IGAC.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, great. There was swimming when I was looking in the U Sports website.
Yep.
There's the swimming national championship is on right now.
Yeah.
Like
It's
there's a ton.
It's the best month.
It
It's the
is.
best month.
It is.
It's there's so much stuff going on. Like we haven't even touched. Well, the PWHPA put an announcement out there for their next showcase in Montreal, just sticking on the same hockey thing. But LPGA is back at it, the NWSL, March Madness. It's like there is so much happening. It's awesome. So to see, you're right, like it's way easier to find. Oh, and curling.
Oh yeah, and curling. And we don't say that in that way. And curling.
No.
We've talked about it. I've been watching curling all week. So Carrie Enerson's rink is getting to play finally on home soil up in Prince George in the Women's World Curling Championship.
Yep.
They've secured their spot in the playoffs. They had a win over Germany, 8-5 win over Germany yesterday. They do play again today against the Czech Republic, and then we get into playoffs. So, that's an interesting one, right? Because they had to play the bubble year last year. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about that too. They're the 3-time defending Scotties champion.
Yeah.
And finally getting to play in front of a home crowd must be a wonderful, wonderful feeling for them.
Oh, for sure. And they're showing it. They are, like, I watched the USA game, Canada-US game, and they did dominate that one. Oh, they dominated that game. It was so incredible to watch. And 9-3 ended up being the final of that one. But the one thing I'm noticing when I was looking at their scores, because I'm the same as you, I've been watching curling nonstop this week, is the scores are quite separate. Like we got 7-1, 8-1, 7-3. Like we got some big scores happening here.
Yeah, it seems like you either get you win by 1 or you win by 7.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like Denmark and Norway. The Denmark-Norway game was awesome. Denmark comes out 11-4.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think, it didn't feel like an 11-4 game when I was watching it, but the final, I was like, they're big games.
Yeah, and Switzerland right now is 11-0. Obviously, so Scotland couldn't come because of COVID.
Yes.
So they were not in attendance. So everyone, got a default W when they had their Scotland game on the schedule. But you come out of the Olympics. So Canada finished 5th in the Olympics. The bronze medal game was Switzerland-Sweden. And right now, that's the way that we're going into playoffs. Is Switzerland 1, Sweden 2, Canada 3. Canada did beat Sweden in the round robin.
Yep.
What's her name? Hasselberg.
Hasselberg, yeah.
Swedish girl.
Yeah.
She did not curl well against Canada.
No.
Not to take anything away from that Canadian win. But I'm excited to see them get into playoffs and hopefully that Carrie Anderson rink can lock up a world championship.
Yeah, I think they're flying high right now. I completely agree with you. Switzerland is on it. They're so good.
They're so dominant.
So good, 11-0 right now. So good.
Yeah.
But I think they're Canada, and I think that you're right. Home turf.
Yeah.
And just to go back to what you're saying about Scotland, COVID, go away.
Yeah.
Please. Because could you imagine you finally get an opportunity to do this, go here, participate, and then you get the call that you've got.
No. I can't.
It breaks my heart because I wouldn't have taken them out of the top 6.
Yeah.
Top 6.
It's just so unfortunate. We talked about that with the UPEI coach. We don't know for sure, but if he's not on the bench and the announcers are saying, wishing you well in today's day and age, unfortunately for us, that's the first assumption.
Yeah.
And same thing, there are pros of that. Turkey got an invite because Scotland couldn't come, I believe. I think it was Turkey.
I think so.
They haven't done well, but you got to start somewhere.
Totally.
It's an opportunity to see the best players in the world and learn as you go.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Cool.
And same thing, you just skipped back to the UBC or UPEI coach, right? You get an opportunity to host nationals.
I know.
Your team has a great season.
Let's remember that nationals were canceled when everyone was in PEI 2 years ago.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. I know. And
then it finally comes back and you're not able to stand behind the bench.
And you're the head coach of the host team. You can't go to any of the events. You can't be on the bench. No, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
So
huge deal.
So we are wishing him the best, though.
Absolutely, we are.
Well,
yeah.
There's no question about that. And
no.
So that's going to be really exciting to see how the champion. Because I would say the women's USport championship right now, I don't think there is a secure lock. I don't think that there's a team that you're like, that's the team that's winning it this year. They've been dominant all year long. I don't think there is that.
No, and I'll be really interested to see U of S because their goalie stood on their head.
Yeah.
To get them there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun.
It's going to be...
Come Tuesday, we'll know. So you guys should all know if you haven't already invested in looking up who actually won the USports National Championship for hockey, do that because we'll talk about it next week.
Absolutely. And we're heading tonight. We have 4 March Madness games going on.
Oh, before we get to that, we need to talk about the fact that your 9-1 versus 1 Gonzaga versus Louisville game went my way.
I thought we were going to forget about it.
Well, we're going to forget about JoJo, so it's fine.
Oh my God. So Cowie is once again chirping me for my paper bracket that my dog chewed up.
I'm sorry, but this sounds like a bad homework joke, but she wasn't even going to tell me when she got here. We talked for 45 minutes, and then she sheepishly said, and JoJo ate my bracket.
He destroyed it. So I lost all my notes.
But did that make you have a non-perfect, remember you had a perfect section of your bracket?
Oh, nope, I think my Spokane, Stanford, Maryland, Ohio, Texas. Perfect. Yep, that's who I have. So those are, I'd say Stanford for the Elite Eight. I say Stanford's taking it, and they're going to be playing Texas. Stanford, Texas, out of the Spokane division.
Okay.
That's where I have it. But yeah, no, Cowie, you, Louisville, Gonzaga, 68-59. You got me. You got me. So they're off to play Tennessee. Tennessee took Belmont. Whoa. 70-64 or 70-67. So tight games. Holy. UConn. But like, even so, I saw was obviously there's so much content on March Madness and what's going on or whatever.
Yeah.
Paige Beckers. Like, everybody obviously knows who Paige Beckers is.
Yeah. If you don't, what rock are you under?
Yeah, legit. Per post or per anything that she puts out into the world,
Sure.
she's making some bank.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
61K?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'd toss a couple posts out there.
As she should. And this all goes back to, we've talked about it on past episodes, the NIL ruling is what allows her to make money as an NCAA athlete. So, heck yeah, nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So the games that are happening today are, and I'm just excited about this, 7:00 tonight, South Carolina versus North Carolina. How pumped do you think that arena is?
Oh, yeah.
That stadium is
jacked.
Probably, oh my God, half red, half blue. Like, just so intense.
Yep.
And I love those kind of rivalries. I love them.
There's nothing that beats a good rivalry.
Nothing.
To me. There is almost nothing that beats that.
It's a big day because I think a lot of people realize, like, a lot of people have South Carolina winning it. A lot of people do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you're on the wagon?
hard.
All right.
Hard.
Okay.
And so I think it's going to be South Carolina, but Iowa State takes down Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. And Creighton is the team that took down Iowa. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that this Iowa State Creighton game, if Creighton can get past Iowa State, that the momentum that they have, they would be the underdog story of this March Madness.
Yeah, there was just an underdog story that came through, but this is on the men's side. Like, this is maybe this is the women's side. No, it's the men's side. We've got 15 seeds beating, like, nothing is out of question when it comes to March Madness.
Well, the South Dakota Michigan game.
Right.
That's the South Dakota taking Baylor. That was huge like,
too.
What?
That was huge too. There was I love some of these stats that are floating around. So the 2022 NCAA Women's March Madness Tournament set an all-time attendance record with 216,890 fans attending the opening weekend. Viewership of the Women's March Madness Tournament's first two rounds increased by 15%, while female viewership increased by 21%. So we're just going to say it again here. When you put women's sports on TV, people watch it.
Yeah. Yep. And it's proven time and time
again. Doesn't matter where you look.
Time and time again. And the two most marketable, they did like a per player marketable athletes or whatever.
Yeah.
Top two were women. And like,
that's what you were saying.
This goes back to, like, it's not about men versus women, but when you have stats like that and you see how invested people, how do you deny it?
Yeah.
How do you deny that it should not be 50-50? How can you sit there and say, we have men's on more.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
And it's starting to get a little bit like silly.
I agree.
I
agree.
So I love when people post stuff like that because it's kind of like, okay, like, let's go. Let's figure this out now.
Agreed.
Because, oh my God, I would do anything to be at a North Carolina, South Carolina game. Anything.
I know.
Get in the truck.
The bucket list is long. Oh, yeah. And you got a truck, your rental truck.
That's right.
Yeah. A little car issue today.
Oh my God, little.
Well, I mean,
down the road, getting
you guys
off the
almost turned
highway.
it into the Flintstones there. You'd have made her.
Get a Lego.
You'd have made her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the 4 huge games tonight. Then it goes to the 26th. Then it goes to the Wichita Bridgeport brackets for their 4 games, heading into the Elite 8. I would say if Creighton gets past Iowa State, that is, whoa. That's
look out. You're betting on Creighton.
I would say tonight, then they're back-to-back games, right? Like South Carolina, North Carolina at 7 p.m. And then 9:30 is Iowa State, Creighton. Like, what a night. What a night for basketball, right?
For sure.
And then it's the flip on the other side where you got Ohio State, Texas, and Stanford, Maryland. So same kind of thing when you guys hear this episode. We will know who is heading into Elite 8. Oh, it's so exciting.
It is exciting.
So exciting.
It is.
So much stuff. And the LPGA, Nana.
I know.
Our girl Nana. Man, she's on a tear. Could you imagine back-to-back?
Well, they kind of all, so far this year, have gone on that kind of route. We started with Danielle Kang, and now we're seeing Nana, and it's... that's just the nature of momentum, for one.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Second round, she's at 11 under already. And then we've got Jin Young Ko and Lydia Ko tied for third at 8 under. So, we know
you can't count out Jin Young Ko ever.
Ever.
We've talked about that.
If she's in the top 6 heading into third round, you best be watching Jin Young Ko.
I can hear myself saying, Birdie, 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 Birdie. She birdied 5. Anyways, that's a reference to an older episode.
Yeah, eyes getting wider and wider.
As I was falling asleep and watching, oh my God, she's gonna do it.
But I'd say this is the first tournament this year, the JTBC Classic in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
Love to know where
Carl's good.
Carl's good. Why's Carl bad? Come on. That Danielle Kang and Brookie Henderson.
Yeah,
you don't see them kicking around. So this, I think, if Nana can go back to back, that would be pretty impressive.
Pretty
and she
awesome.
looks very strong. 11 under in your second round.
Yeah,
that's pretty strong there. What a week. What a week. And still, Challenge Cup.
Oh, there's lots on.
It's like soccer's every night.
Yeah.
I'm like because I get notifications on my phone of every time a soccer game's on. I'm like, whoa. Every night. It's awesome.
It was funny. I screenshot something to someone on my phone, and it was this, like, I've got this app on my phone that gives you quotes throughout the day. Just a nice little pick you up of a reminder.
Oh, nice.
And so I screenshotted it, and then that's the text I got back. It was like, what is all this shit on your phone? Because it is. It was like bracket, ESPN, TSN, Sportsnet. Someone drove by our house, our alarm thing, and then whatever. And I was like, well, that's not, like, forget the rest. It was the nice quote. Like,
it's a beautiful
focus
quote.
on the quote.
Yeah, not all that. Well,
but you're right. I get my phone blows up all day of, like, right here.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter what time it is. I got sports coming through.
And I love it because I think I had to tell everybody that I got a Paramount Plus account that I can't use because I realized that I am Canadian.
Yep.
So everything on Twitch, so it's perfect because you just subscribe to Twitch and then every single time it's a game on, it's like perfect.
So-and-so is live on Twitch,
Absolutely.
I do have one thing that I saw on Instagram just now as I was scrolling to find that Ashleigh Barty thing. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this on Instagram? Is there more doors or wheels in the world?
No. What is this?
It's been going around on Instagram, so I'm going to ask you that. Are you team doors or team wheels? Is there more doors or wheels in the world?
You know what? I literally just went through like 3 different scenarios in my head because I got right serious about this question. Because if you think about it, every house, if you have 2 cars, that's 8 wheels, 2 doors, front door to back door, really.
4 doors if you drive a 4-door car, plus your trunk and your hood.
Oh, that's included. We're not even just talking house doors. We're talking all doors.
Well, I think.
Oh, because then I got into the apartment blocks, because then if you have apartment blocks and then you've got then you get hotels.
Yeah.
But then if you have semis and you got 18
but then
wheelers,
you think about kitchen. Like, look around us. I can see 3 doors right now. But your kitchen, every cupboard is a door.
What person put this question on Instagram?
I don't know.
What human being?
There's a lot of people who instantly say team wheels because they say 4 to 1, right?
Well, yeah.
A car has 4 doors or 4 wheels, but it's like, and even a semi, if you think about that, a semi might have anywhere like 18, 20 wheels, and it's got 2 doors in the front and then 2 doors in the back.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have a side thing. But
this is a sick human who did this question.
So anyways, I'm team doors.
Are you?
I think I'm team doors.
I'm saying, my gut is saying wheels. I'm team wheels because I think about all the different trucks. Like if you own a courier company, if you own a trucking company, you alone, even if you have one building that is your business and you have all those trucks.
Yeah, but every desk in that office building has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 doors.
So you're not. So just to clarify, everybody, she just pointed to drawers. So if we're talking, is that a door though, or is that a drawer?
Well,
what's the classification of a door? Because that's a cabinet.
That's a door.
That's a cabinet.
A door is something that closes to leave the rest of the contents
I would
inside.
give you cabinet. I don't know if I'd give you drawer.
I still think cabinet or not.
Cabinet, but then even if one person is in charge of 20 trucks, then that's 1 door, 1 cabinet, and then for however many wheels that would be. I'm team wheels.
Because you think about a sleeper in the back of a truck. They've got doors.
I'm team
doors.
What made you think of this first and foremost?
Because I was scrolling through Instagram when we were talking about Ashleigh Barty, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw that post on here. And it was the TSN team, like it was like Jen Botterill and Kevin Bieksa, and someone posted it as they were walking in, and it was like, more doors or more wheels in the world? And half of them were like wheels, half of them are doors. And then I was like, what am I? So I think I'm team doors.
I think I'm gonna think all night on this. Thank you for taking away all my sleep tonight. I'm gonna be counting
because you think about as a family. So Ashleigh and I live in this house. We own 2 cars, both are 4 doors, but hers has a hood and a trunk. Mine's got a tailgate and a hood. So that's a 6 to 4 door to wheel ratio.
Yeah.
But then we each own a bike that's 2 wheels. And we own a quad that's 4 wheels. We own 2 trailers, so those have 2 wheels. But then look around the house. So just as us contributing as one family, we definitely have more doors than wheels. Anyways, food for thought.
Wow.
As random sidebar.
Yeah. Everyone's everybody, are you seriously still talking about this? Yes, we are. And now you are all thinking about it as well. I was going to say,
I hope that everyone finds us on Instagram at Beauty Sports Talk. And when we post for this week's episode and you listen to it, you come back and tell us, are you team wheels or team doors?
Call in. Call in with your explanation because we need to have a conversation about this, because as of right now, I am team wheels, Cowie is team doors, and we need teammates.
Yeah.
So that is a perfect way to end the show. That is incredible. I'm going to ask you for your final words, but I'm sure you're going to talk about doors. So Cowie, what is final words?
You know what, ads, again, even on a Friday instead of a Sunday, it is one of my favorite parts of the week. For those of you who have come back to listen to us again, thank you so much. This is our unselfish plug. Find us on Instagram, Twitter at Beauty Sports Talk, on TikTok. Oh, Instagram and TikTok at Beauty Sports Talk, on Twitter at _Beauty Sports. We have a voicemail, speakpipe.com/Beauty Sports. Leave us a rate, review. But thanks for coming back. I love you, bud.
I love you too. And thank you all. And we will see you next week.